Welcome back, family. So, on today's second half, I have a different type of treat for you. Auntie BB has brought in a guest to the show. Woo, woo, woo! Yes, my first. I want you all to welcome my buddy T Rose to the show. Come on, welcome him. Woo! Yes. Say hi to the people, T.
Well, thank you for having me. As you stated, I am T Rose, and I'm just, if that's Auntie BB, then this is nephew TT, and we're gonna get into some things.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, for those of you all that don't know, real quick, T and I met on the panel of that Facebook talk show with all the buzz. We have something to talk about, and we hit it off immediately. Even though he joined us during the last few months, it was a treat to have him on. T has wanted to chat with Auntie BB. So here he is. I finally got around to getting him on, and I'm excited. And today we're going to talk about family. And I have a few questions that I have in my mind that I wanted to just throw out there to the people. And who else but to do it? None other than nephew TT. So you ready?
I am. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Question number one. This one is an easy. What is family to you?
Mm. Yeah, right. So family to me would mean who is there, who shows up, who has your back. A lot of times people say blood. I feel like blood is a relative. So family to me is the people who are gonna show up and be there.
Yes. I like that. I like that you now you made me think of it in a different way because a lot of times being from my generation, a lot of us believe that family is that blood, that relative. That's what family is. But family is the people that's always around you. Did y'all hear that? The people that's around you that care for you, that you can depend on. That's what family is. Thank you. See, I learned something from my nephew today.
No, but for real, you really just have to think about it because we have a lot of people who hold the title of a family member, but if you don't know me, you don't know my colors, you don't know the things that make me, tick, then it's kind of you change that narrative, and so we'll get further into that. But people change their own narrative from family member to relative, and that's just what it is.
That's it. It is what it is. Okay. Well, I hope y'all got that family. Now, question number two. Has the family dynamic today changed in your opinion from the last, let's say, 25 years ago?
I would have to say yes, but I feel like there are many different factors that play into that. You say the family dynamic today changed, in my opinion, from let's say 25 years ago. Yes, but you also have to understand that. Okay, yes, absolutely, it's changed. There's many different factors. I'll say factors of how people view relationship has changed,
Okay.
and I'll say that's a major factor. And if we're going to talk about the black community, you also have to understand that there was a lot of disenfranchisement that took place that would decimate families. So, yeah, it's changed structurally. It's definitely changed. I
And
think
go ahead.
one more factor. I think the ideology of women has changed a lot. I'm not saying on a all scale, but a lot of women feel like they have a little bit more options than previously. We see a lot of things changing where foster care is rising because moms say, just like dads have always kind of had an option to kind of, I guess, not take care of. Well, we see
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that in women, now as well.
Mm-hmm.
They choose not to take care of. And then grandparents pass, and they
Yeah.
have a whole different dynamic of what a family looks like at this time.
Exactly. And I would go further to say that as when you were stating the disenfranchisement of it, a lot of in our community, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
I talk about more right here is our community. A lot of our black men were incarcerated,
Absolutely.
taken away from the family for minor things, and then the women started getting incarcerated because they were either following in those steps or something minor or doing what they had to do to take care of the family that they created. So, yes, I would say yes too. The family dynamic has changed past 25, past 50, past 60 years. I would say that. So, okay, y'all got
And
that? Go
And
ahead.
I think we should speak on another factor too, real quick. I feel like we talked about 25 years ago. I don't know if I feel like times might have been harder for us, and as far as resources and even opportunity, but it was something about a gumption of the people maybe 25 years ago. Where I still feel like we had just a little bit more businesses and people really trying to get into employment and education and doing different things. Where now it's almost like things are. Um, so there was more communal, like, because we have to work together to
Mm-hmm.
live. And now it's like, okay, all the resources and opportunity are here, so it's kind of like no communal is needed, and that's why we see a shift in family. Because at 18, you're going off to Howard and your family's in North Carolina or wherever, and you started this whole new journey on your own. They fund you if they can, or you make it on your own, and then you kind of see each other in the interim. We got to talk about the digital age of social media that has made a family dynamic shift in the last
Yes.
25 years as well.
Yes. Oh, wow. Wow, we need to come back and do a whole show on family dynamic. That can take us a lot of different routes. So, but we're gonna move on. Question number 3. What does love look like to you in a family setting?
Um, I think love in a family setting, when you talk about immediate households, I feel like it would be acceptance. Even in the place of disagreement or hurt and pain, and yes, I am a parental and this is how I want you to live. Acceptance of a child, acceptance of a spouse, and those who you hold dear to you isn't needed because you have to be able to be who you are or be able to explore and come into your own and feel free to do that. And I think that's what true love in a family setting looks like.
Exactly, exactly. And I think a lot of that has changed because there's no acceptance for the difference. Because I'm not who you believe that I should be. So now you can't grasp that. So the love is gone. And that has always been an issue for me. I've never had it, but I've seen it. And it just makes me wonder, how could you have a child and not accept that child for who that child is and love them regardless of the fact. But that's also another large subject that we can talk about as far
That
as
is definitely. I'll say, as you know, and just to give the audience some examples, of acceptance, it's little stuff sometimes. A lot of times people say, well, oh, here we go with these big pictures of acceptance that people really just have hard barriers, breaking, right? But I'm speaking more so to the little things. Your kid likes a different music than you. Your spouse likes a different phrase. People really, when you live with people on an everyday basis, you kind of get nitpicky and people can feel like that love is like not as permanent, or exuding the same way.
right.
But it's like really true acceptance of people's little flawed characters and innuendos, and I think that's what true love in family.
I think if you believe that everybody should be just like you are, then the world would be a boring place
Right?
because there's just you walking around
All the time.
all the time. Mm. Now, a narcissistic person would say, "Oh, that's beautiful."
Right?
But okay, let's move on to question number 4. Do you think the matriarchs and patriarchs passed down their torches properly?
Okay, so I had really thought about this a lot, and I wanted to know from you, um, who are we considering matriarchs at this time? Like, what time frame is that?
Oh, wow. See, now that's a deeper thing because in my family, immediate family, it was my mom who passed in 99.
Okay,
So she was like the matriarch of our relatives and she kept everybody together. I can say if you go further back, they may have been someone else, that was above her that kept everybody in the know of what's going on and kept people together. But today, I don't see it a lot because the grandparents have passed away. And it was more of the grandparents or the great grandparents that kept us with all the information, letting us know the history of our families, like the Cicely Tyson and remember that movie that Tyler Perry
yes,
did with all of them? Like those women right there,
yeah,
Maya Angelou. But, do we have that today? Did
absolutely. Okay, so and we're talking about, did these matriarchs pass down the torches properly? I would have to say that, again, time framing and disenfranchisement, I feel like a lot of these people were delayed. So, like you said, they did die early because I think there was a big pandemic where a lot of people got, just disenfranchised. And
right,
I think that we see the aftermath of this now. Because I do remember a time when I was younger where people gathered and had barbecues, and there were old people who were planning meals and different Thanksgivings and different things like that. And there has been a shift in
mm-hmm,
my time frame of life. Like, I literally have seen it where you might gather,
mm,
on Thanksgiving and Christmas, but there will be a 2 year gap because some people are gonna go off and do this and we do this, but there is no, I feel, big tradition. And so, to answer the question at hand, I have to say there has been some type of disconnect or ball drop from the past matriarchs to the ones who are supposed to be taking over,
right,
because it seems like once they die, there is no one to keep that thing going. So yes, I do think that somewhere along the line, we as a community of Black people have just gotten away from it and don't feel the need for it as much. And that's a whole nother show. Or those matriarchs, did not weren't as effective as maybe their predecessors were, and that's
okay,
something that you have to ask.
okay. Okay, well, family, we have more questions, but I think we're going to have nephew TT back. But I want to close out this segment with, if you guys want to know where my nephew is, give them your information and let them know how to find you and if you're doing something.
All right, so you can find Nephew TT on Facebook at T Rose. It's TeeRose, where I will be putting out future content. You can also find me on Instagram at the underscore ITN It in Rose, ROSE.
Okay, well, we thank you, nephew, for coming on this show and giving us some enlightenment on family. Now, as I stated, we got some more questions and we're going to come back. We just got to get our schedules together. And we're going to finish out these last few questions and give you all some good talking, okay? Because we love to talk and we can go. We might have to do two segments of us just talking about life and
Life.
what's going on. All right. So, right now, I'm going to say until next time, family, you all keep on loving everybody and stay safe. Say bye to the people.
All right, y'all have a good one. Till next time.
Later.